mysterious artifact. An alien ring, lost for thousands of years. Marooned on its surface. Hunted by an undaunted foe. You are mankind's most advanced warrior. Equipped to battle indoors and out. Trained to pilot any vehicle. Skilled in all weapons, human and alien. You are humanity's final hope. Halo. Combat Evolved.
Carsman50. Hello, yes it is Carsman50 here today, and I'm back with tech news. We don't have Dom here with us today, but I assure you it still will be a good episode. It will be about 20 minutes. First things first, my new rig that I've been building over the past month or so is finally been complete. Still a couple of parts on their way, but it's got a Asus KP5L-CM motherboard. It's still old, but it's got a 3GB Core 2 Duo, 2GB of DDR2 RAM, and the almighty GTX 560 by Leadtek. I've mentioned it in my description in the other video, but I'm finally actually doing this video right now on it. So very pleased with how it's gone, and hopefully it'll last me into the future. We have a few other topics to talk about here today, including phone blocks. We'll get into a bit of that. Nintendo, how they're coping with release of a few new titles and how that's gone. A shape-shifting display that is, I'll put the video up later on as well. My take on news coming up around the new next generation consoles, and the Steam box. There has actually been official prototype being released. I've got an article on that. And last but certainly not least, the new generation of graphics cards from AMD and Nvidia. So first things first, we'll go with phone blocks. Now, it's been a project around for, I don't know, a while now I suppose. Don't know exactly when things were started off with that project, but I know of it from a YouTube ad that I saw from GSM Arena. But now Motorola's picked up this project. So you're going to ask, what is phone blocks? And basically it is a fully modular phone concept where you get the motherboard of the phone, which you can clip in various components, you know, batteries and cameras and processors and whatnot. They basically just block together and they fit in this chassis, and you can pick the screen, which is, you know, you can have like a touch screen or a smaller one with a keypad, or I mean anything you want really. And it runs Android, and I don't know exactly what kind of details are surrounding that, but I definitely heard that Motorola has picked up this project, which is really encouraging. I mean, I love this idea. It's just something that has got my interest for a while, because everyone thinks, oh, you know, everyone should upgrade their phone every year, and I mean, yeah, I see why they would, especially, you know, how things are changing so fast, and batteries dying, and out-of-date hardware, and cameras slowly getting better on phones. It's just, everything's happening at once, and I think that if people get the opportunity to make the phone they want, and if it's affordable, then it'll just be a huge takeoff. I mean, I'm not sure if they're on Kickstarter or Indiegogo yet, but I certainly would love to see them on there and would definitely give them my support. You can catch them on GSM Arena. I'll put the link in the description, and a video surrounding how they've come together, and it's just a great idea. Would definitely recommend it to anyone who, I mean, even people who are not interested in how phones work and things like that will definitely benefit as well, because they'll be able to make what they want. I mean, me personally, cameras on phones, they're okay, but I'll definitely get a bigger camera than everyone's normal. I love the Nokia Lumia 1020 with its 41 megapixel camera. It's just great. But if you got the option of putting a bigger camera on and things, definitely I'd do that, and a battery and maybe a speaker or whatnot. But everything just clips together. It's great, and definitely wouldn't go past it. So yeah, definitely an article in the description, and we'll head on to our next topic, which is Nintendo. Now, this is one from I picked up from Reviewtech USA. He's a great guy, Rich. Listen to him all the time and been a subscriber from his channel for a long time now. And he was going on about the Wii U, which he's had for a while, and decided to pick one up about 6 months ago. And he finally got a Call of Duty Ghosts on that game, and which is good. I mean, I love how it's definitely been brought out for that console, and it's as good as the next gen stuff, which has been talking a bit about as well. But he has been playing Ghosts and found that there's been very few people online, and that's not an encouraging statement, especially when it's a multi-plat like that, and how it's been marketed to the people. And there's a huge big video he had with one of his friends talking about how they had the opportunity to be able to absolutely blow these other people, blow Sony and Microsoft out of the water, but they didn't, because they didn't have their launch titles ready. The big ones, Zelda and Mario and all those ones, weren't ready at launch, and that's what people wanted to play on the Wii U, because it was just what they had in mind, and how the Wii was actually an extension for the GameCube, but they kind of ditched it because it was out-of-date hardware. And the Wii was good, but the gimmick didn't last too long, and I've certainly had a lot of experience with the Wii and how it's definitely geared towards younger kids, and they stuck with that because young kids picked up the Nintendo and in the 80s, and then people haven't been picking it up because people who originally had the Nintendo have grown older and not wanting to play kids games again. But I mean, I don't mind the Wii. I mean, yeah, it's not HD and it doesn't offer anything over component, but I don't know if the fan base is there still, and the Wii U's definitely picked that up, but certainly it's not as capable hardware as dual core versus the 8 core and the next gen consoles. But I think that it's okay. I mean, definitely not something I would be buying, because as I said, I'm definitely drawn, more of a PC gamer and all, but the touchscreen's not too bad and the gameplay is not too bad. I haven't played one myself, and Don was talking about last time that he has, and how you can't put it down because it's just such a great system. And I would believe him on that one, but yeah, I'm still skeptical because I haven't played one myself, so we'll see where that takes me when I do get one or when I do play one. But yeah, they're definitely not in great shape, and how they missed the opportunity to be able to pick up games, and how they could have gone to other companies begging at their knees with $1 million, say, can you please put this game on our console? And they just didn't go around doing that, and how a lot of people out there don't actually even know what the Wii U is. Like, you go and ask somebody on the street, especially my friends and things, go, what, have you heard of the Wii U? And they go, what the hell's that? Everyone's going on about the Xbox and the Sony consoles, which is great. I mean, that's a good system, and I've got nothing to complain about that. But it's just, I don't know, it could have been better marketed and could have been more out there and maybe more adult orientated. But it's not too bad with families and younger kids and things. But I don't think there's a lot of fan base for that at the moment. So they're going to struggle, and I'm just going to see where this goes, which is probably in the downwards direction, which is not the greatest thing, but we will see. I'm just, but yeah, not as happy as I could have been about the launch and how they've gone about giving the people the games that they want on this console. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame. Alright, we're on to our next topic. Now, this is something I picked up on a Facebook feed that I don't know, just one of the pages that I suggested that I liked, and it is a shape-shifting display. Now, it's not what you think it is, but it is essentially a iPad or a tablet, it looks like, that's hooked up to these actuators, which are designed to be have a sense of depth, and the camera is almost it's actually a Kinect hooked up on the other end, and basically you put your hand further forward into the Kinect and it will recognise how far in, because the Kinect has a depth sensor because it's a 3D camera in essence actually. And these actuators will realise that you've got something facing forward, and it will actually realise the 3D of what's actually going into the depth, into the sensor, and it'll replicate that on these blocks that poke up and down through ear, obviously. And he was shoving his hand through and reading a book through it, and it looks really cool. I mean, he was even calculating maths problems through a computer through it, and what the graphical display would be of that. And it's not entirely practical. I mean, it doesn't have a lot of uses, in this day right yet, but it's certainly a great achievement from the Massachusetts Institution of Technology. Sorry, correct my speaking, but yeah, 3D modelling of cars he had in the video as well, and it's just wow. I mean, I was just shocked. I really had to talk about that because it's just so interesting to see, because I thought, well, yeah, look, I was like, what's a shape-shifting display? But I was like, yes, definitely, that is something I would look into, but I don't have the money or the resources to do that myself. But yeah, I mean, that's just something I would love to get. That's great. Actually, kind of moving more onto that, but it's kind of a bit of a side topic here. 3D printers. Now, everyone knows about 3D printers and how hellishly expensive they are, and I agree, they're not cheap. But Tech of Tomorrow, Raise the World, Tech Syndicate have been talking about cheap ones and what people have been doing with that. So check out their page, subscribe to them, and how people have been doing a bit more sinister things than what you think about with them, making guns, and how there's ones that print metal, and people have been printing 1911s with them. Go check out that channel. I'll definitely have them in the description. We shall move on. Oh, actually, let's go into our new section of this show, Rant Time.
Good afternoon, sir. Could we interest you in some chocolate?
Chocolate? Did you say chocolate?
Yes, sir. With or without nuts.
What the fuck?
Yes, new section in the show. We have to go on about this. I'm going to rant about what everyone's ranting about at the moment: YouTube comments. I hate it. I mean, I mean, I've only noticed it when competitions and stuff have come up where people have been complaining to their heart's content about how they had to have a Google Plus account and a YouTube account to actually be able to comment on a video. Now, who uses Google Plus really? I mean, I had it because I was one of the ones where I had it before people have been signing up, so you didn't have to sign up for Google Plus as well as Google, which is kind of fortunate, so it hasn't been bugging me as much as other people have. But it's just go back to the way it used to be. I mean, they're forcing you to have this, and I think it's taking away our control and our freedom through this, and Google's usually been a good provider. I mean, they've been doing things for the good instead of the bad, and we've got to show a picture of a Bob comment. I mean, how they've been wanting to attack YouTube and Google and just make comments the way back they've meant to be, and it's just really aggravated me that they've done this, because it's come as a bit of a surprise and people have had to do it. They've got no choice in the matter, and I think that that's more of the concern to me than just having a Google Plus account, because I've had one and I don't use it, and no one uses it, so it's not a problem. But it's just the fact that they've made you do it is the problem, and I think that definitely if go on to forums and things where you know that a websites are safe and they've got their own commenting system, but for now, you know, I've only stuck with YouTube. So and also, yeah, Tech Syndicate got their own forum. I'll put that in the description as well if you want to see them. They've been great, and I'm huge fans of these guys because I agree with a lot of the stuff they say. But yeah, it's just definitely really not really not nice. That's the end of the rant today. Let's move on. Next gen consoles. Oh, this is just this is just a laugh. Really, this is just a laugh. Sony, the PS4, you know, it's been released in America, and I'm not sure about New Zealand the release time, but I'll have an update if I find it. But everyone just reporting that their consoles have had some issue or another. Usually the graphics card, you know, HDMI not recognizing the your display and kind of doing all crazy and weird things. But usually it's the blue light of death. Now, the Xbox 360 had the red ring of death, and that's an overheating issue. But this one's just plainly your controller button is flashing blue, and it's saying that there's something wrong with the connection and you can't use the console at all. So I don't have one. I don't know of anyone who does have one, but there's been a lot of people on Amazon and Newegg just complaining profusely about the service they've had with this console, and there's no one getting the day one patch because no one's about to use their console, so there's no point in doing it. So it's just a pain in the ass, and it's just not nice. So I mean, for the people who've had their consoles working, have had a great experience so far. Review Tech USA is going to have a video up tonight about you know, reporting about what's going on with it, and it's had a lot of fun. But people who haven't, well, I'm sorely sorry for you guys, and hopefully that you can get it fixed, because before they get it to New Zealand, if people can buy them in New Zealand, but I don't think you can. Yeah, it's just crazy. So yeah, also the Xbox One in New Zealand, there's been a couple of people reporting on this, that you can, the first person in New Zealand will have to swim down to the bottom of Shark Tank and get it. So actually, it's not the first person in New Zealand. Supposedly, it's the first person in the world. I think it's at midnight tonight, or midnight in the next few days, or something like that. And people are going to swim down to the bottom of the Shark Tank and get their Xbox One. I don't know how they're going to announce it or how they're going to get it, but it's there. There's a video. Go into the New Zealand Herald and find this. There'll be a link in the description. And yeah, it's weird, but yeah, it's just my take, my ideas on next gen. There hasn't been much else going on. Just a day one patch, which is basically allowing you to play online because the servers are finally back up and running. No real news on the Xbox One about what's going on with that, but it seems to be all smooth at the moment. We'll see what happens when people receive them, but yeah, that's what's happening at the moment. Let's move on to a big topic that we talked about last week, which was Steam. I know it's not just tech news, it's Steam news, so I'm sorry about that, but there's been an official prototype of the Steam box released, and it's got Core i7, GTX Titan, and it's quite a low profile unit really. It's not too much bigger than your computer, well, smaller than your computer, but it's got enough room for all that and powering all of that, so it must, yeah, it's weird, but it's going to run SteamOS, which is basically basically Steam Home. Am I right on that? Yeah, I think I am right on that. And you can run just Steam on there. They're going to have streaming supposedly in the next while or so, but we'll see what how that goes for now. So it should be pretty interesting actually. I'm seeing how the takeoff is going to go and how it's going to launch, and yeah, we'll see in the future about how that will work. Let's move on to our last but not least topic. Definitely, it's not going to be our biggest chat, but like it was with our Rant and our Nintendo talks, but it is definitely well deserved and well past its due date. I know they've been out for a while, but the AMD R9 R7 series of graphics cards. Now, they're basically rebadged versions of the 7000 series, but they've come at a way attractive price point. For example, I was looking at the R9 280X, which is similar to the 7970, and essentially the same hardware, but with a few other tweaks, which I'll get to a bit later. The 7970, yeah, 7970, yeah, 7970. Was $650. I'm looking on Playtech here. I'm not looking at any other websites because I know Playtech is actually a company, and I know I can trust their pricing and things. And I can tell you that at R9 280X, I will have a look right at this moment. Actually, just wait a second. Going to the Playtech website. Sorry for the delay, but we will have a look at computer hardware, AMD Radeon, the R9 series. Yep, here we go, an R9 280X, Direct CE2 Asus edition, 3GB of DDR5 memory, with Mantle graphics core next generation, ultra resolution gaming at 4K, and $499 out of stock at the moment. But you can definitely pick one up for $499. Absolutely crazy pricing, I tell you. And even some of the ones with the VaporX cooler and Toxic have been a bit cheaper on that price as well. Head over Playtech if you don't believe me, but that's a great card and will be well worth its money in gold, to be honest, because they're definitely a better performance. And also, AMD hasn't been picky with their cross-firing technology. You can actually cross-fire them with a 7970 and all the other ones as well. It's R9 270X, 260X, and R7 240 and 260. Oh no, R7 260X, sorry. And also the R9 290, which is a brand spanking new card, was the fastest car in the world for about a week. I know, only a week, but hey, it's 4GB of DDR5 technology, 947 MHz core clock, memory clock of 1250 MHz, 512-bit bus, 6-plate 8-pin power connectors, 250 watts graphics. I wouldn't bother buying one at the moment if you're looking for an R9 290 or R9 290X, because they're only reference designs at the moment, and that definitely hinders the performance because there's no room left for overclocking, which is a bit unfortunate, I do have to say. But because I run so loud and so hot that you'll just blue screen if you do try to overclock. So there are 899, the R9280X, and the 679 for the R9290, which is basically a slightly lower clock speed R9290X, but they're about $200 cheaper, which is a very attractive price point. So that's definitely good news for AMD, especially Mantle. There's been a lot of news on Mantle. Look at Linus Tech Tips channel. They've been looking about what that is and how that will affect your gameplay, because basically what they're doing is they're reorganizing their shader architecture, and how it'll be a lot more organized, how there'll be multi-streams of their calculations of physics and AI and whatnot, and putting into multi-threads instead of what used to be, everything doing something at the same time through DirectX, and shoving it all through one bottleneck, which is good. It's been around for a long time, and I wonder why they haven't done it previously, but I'm glad that they're definitely getting onto it now, because of how consoles are using the AMD architecture and graphics core next generation, and how that will rotate around that, and how multi-threaded applications for GPUs will be more accessible because of how these software for the consoles are developing, which is great news for AMD people. And Mantle is an open source thing, so Nvidia might eventually pick that up, which is a good thing and a bad thing, but AMD will definitely be stealing the show at the moment for that, so that's good. We'll move on to Nvidia now. This GTX 780 Ti, which is now classed as the fastest gaming card on the planet, it's good. Once again, head over to NCIX Tech and Linus Tech Tips for benchmarks on these two cards, because I don't own one myself, so you have to go to another channel for that. But 4K gaming is way accessible on this card, same with the R9290 and 290X, but well recommended to do that. I'll have a look at these, if these are available. Nvidia GeForce 780 series. Yep, we've got a 780 Ti by EVGA. It's for $1,149. These have a 876 MHz core clock, 2,880 CUDA cores, 348 megabit bit data face, and that's an Asus version. There's an EVGA 7. Oh, sorry, it's a 780. Sorry, but yeah, $1,200 if you want to splash out on a GTX 780 Ti, which is a great card. I definitely would recommend one if you're using CUDA for any applications out there, and it's even good in workstations, which is great. I mean, for people out there who have got one of those things with Xeon processors and whatnot. But yeah, it's been great. Yeah, definitely. Probably, I'm not sure I'll buy one myself because I'm more of an AMD diehard fanboy, but I don't like to classify myself as one of those things, but one of those people. But definitely, if you're up with those kind of things, then yeah, I'd definitely spend $1,000 on one of those just to say you've got the best graphics card in the world. I'm not one of those people, but I do have an Nvidia card myself, the GTX 560, which is still relevant to today, even though it's a couple of years old. And so I'll be gaming hard on that. So yeah, thanks for listening today. That's our 4 news stories. They'll be in the description. And yeah, definitely have a look at those other channels for benchmarks and reviews on what people will be saying on the console side of things, and the shape-shifting display, which is awesome, definitely worth to have a look at for future technology, and phone blocks, which has been hallelujah to the phone world, and if it ever launches. So yeah, thank you very much for listening. I will try to get a World of Tanks video up. Sorry I haven't been doing that lately. I've just had a bit of struggle installing it on my rig at the moment, but I might do it on my laptop. We'll see how things pan out. I'll be a review, I would say, but I'm not 100% certain because I do have a slightly busier week, but I'll definitely get onto it on the weekend if things are needed. Yeah, catch you guys. Sorry there's no Dom this week, but he has been busy. He's still finishing off school at the moment, so it's been busy times for him, but hopefully he'll join me for another video. Don't know what I'll say yet, but we'll see what pops up and use, because that's the beauty of this, is you get to find out, you know, when things come up and if you want to talk about them or not. So I do have to say thank you to my programs that I'm using. Cyberlink Power Director, great video editing, and for a very attractive price actually. It is only $97 for Power Director Ultra and only $56.50 for Power Director 13 Basic. It also includes Power Director Mobile, which allows you to sync between Power Director and your selected Windows, Android and iOS devices. Cyberlink Power Director 13. MSI Afterburner, great program for overclocking, video editing, video recording, and actually voiceover recording as well, which I found out you can do, so that's great as well. And Water Tank Social Hub, it's an Overwolf beta. We can actually use the social aspect of that to contact your Facebook and Skype friends and stuff through Water Tanks, and hopefully actually support other games for that as well, which is cool. Go and check them out, and yeah, have a great fun with your gaming if you're gaming over the next week, and hope to catch you next time. Thank you.